Hello, I'm Nathan with RatherBeBoardGaming, and I'm back to do some more painting for noobs like myself to share, to maybe encourage other people. And as you can see, I have the Nazi figures from the Nazi army soldiers, and I have the heroes over there from Fortune and Glory. Want to try to get that done now that I have the box insert for it. Got my box of paints here with bought some extra paints and stuff. I'm going to show you the new brushes I got. My other brushes were falling apart. The bristles were starting to come out. So I'll take a quick look at that, and then I'll cut in every now and then, show you what I'm doing and what I'm working on. Okay. I still have a few brushes, and as you can see, this is getting really wild and frayed. And the other one just was doing like this to dry it off, and just went like that, pulled it out, and had no bristles in it. So they were all starting to get old and look bad, so I bought some new ones. This one here's got a larger brush, and then this one here, it's a much sharper point. So it's going to be really good for details. And these should be plenty good for the kind of painting I'm doing, because I'm not an expert or anything. And then just got some old water bottles. I put just some tap water in, and got some packing tape I doubled up to put the figures on. I let these soak for 5 to 10 minutes in warm water, tap water, little more than warm, but not hot, with some baking soda. And then I used an old toothbrush just to kind of brush off anything that might be on it in dirt, and I've got a little bit right there, so I'll get that off in just a second. But I think they're ready to go, so we'll come back in a little bit and see how it's going. Currently have all of the soldiers' face and hands painted. Nothing spectacular, but I want to show you what I'm doing. Took some brown, added a few drops of white until I got the color I wanted, and it's plenty. There's plenty, so if it starts to dry out and get caked up on your brush, just wash it off and get some fresh. Let's see here. He has an ear here that is exposed, and I just come down onto the neck, up onto the bill of the cap, and just kind of rub it. And once you get a little bit of paint on there, then you can come back over it and smooth it out with a little extra paint, and you can actually start to see a little bit of the features and details. Got to get up under the chin. And not all of these are exactly the same, so just kind of follow the curves the best you can, because some of the plastic, it has the seam from the mold. So just kind of find where you want it to go to. And if you accidentally get a little bit in some places you don't want, it's fine. This is going to be the first thing I paint, because it is a small area and it's a light color, so if I decide to paint anything around it, I can easily come in with a fine brush, cover it up. So now here on the hands, one of the figures definitely had a different looking mold and looked like he had his thumb up on the stock of the gun, and so I painted it that way. This one definitely does not. There we go. Finally got enough paint down in that little crevice to cover it up. Come here on the bottom. Some of the figures, you can actually see the little fingers when you get some paint down in here. But most of them look like they're wearing flesh-colored winter mitts, which is fine. Just give them some mittens. I'm going to wash this off so I can get some fresh. It's just wanting to clump a little bit. Just getting a tiny bit of paint there, if you can see. Sorry, I know the focus is not the greatest, but I'm going to come in here on the inside just to get the fingers there. Okay. Then other hand, and we are done. Doesn't have to be perfect. Any paint on it at all is going to look better than what it was. So just take your time. I like to put a little bit of water in the bottles just to have a little weight of something in my hand when I'm trying to hold it. Hadn't been able to paint for a while, been having some stinging and hand pains, but it's better now. But still, having something like the bottle with a little bit of weight makes it easier. There we go. And I got a little bit of paint accidentally on the barrel of the gun. I'll just rub that off, and any that's left I'll cover up with black paint so it won't matter. Let's get a little bit over here on this side of his face. It just looks real jagged and uneven. So we're going to smooth that out a little bit. Here we go. Alright, and that's good enough. Wanted to show you what I was doing. Hope I got enough paint. And see if I can get this to focus. Let's see. There we go. This one has been painted. This one has not. And you can see it's just a slightly different color green. I took the green and added some brown. And you can see a difference on the plastic that is unpainted. It really does tone it down a little bit. See the boots and the gun, how it's a different color. And I just kind of put it on pretty thick. I didn't worry about making it super nice and even because I will go back and do the details later. I did not paint the satchels or the boots or the gun, anything like that. And I decided to not even try to do the collar or the shoulders in a different color, in a different shade of green. I'm just going to do it all in this. So it's roughly 2/3 green and 1/3 brown. And hopefully I can show you that as I start to just work this around, you'll be able to start seeing a contrast, and it's a much more natural looking green fabric look. As I was just mixing the paints, trying to figure out how I was going to do that, I decided these figures are small enough that little detail would be cool, but really unnecessary since they are just the basic minion mob. Who knows, I may end up changing my mind at the end, but for now, let's start getting these painted. You can see I'm just smearing it on. The strap, I can go ahead and paint it, don't matter, I'll come back over it with black. But these satchels, I'm probably going to leave a brownish color. I'm going to take basically the same color I used for their face and hands, add some yellow. Yeah, add a little yellow and it'll give me this burnt tan leathery look. Okay. And then right there next to the hand, I'm going to try to get a good straight line. And come up here, across, go across, go across there, and then just down the top to smooth it out. There we go. And it won't matter if there's a little bit of green bleeding through. And then when I do the wash at the end, it should tie everything together. But I'm really liking how simple that looks, how simple that is to do and how good it makes it look. Here is the skin tone that I used with just a little yellow added in, and has that nice tan look, and then his hair is just brown straight out of the bottle. I did end up buying like just a plain little ball of brown. Makes it easier instead of having to mix it and be consistent every time. And there are a few of the figures, 3, 4 I think, that I actually painted their hair the same color as the satchels, so they have some blondish hair. And then I have brown there. I got 4 or 5 of those, and I'm going to do the rest of them in black, and I'm about to paint some of the rest of this black. So let's just take a look. Get my brush just slightly damp. All I'm doing is using the cap. Alright, so this canister, I don't know exactly what it would be. Could just be a sleeping bag pouch or a field kit of some kind, who knows. But I want to get a little bit of variety on the figures. I don't want them to just be solid green. Here we go. And you can see I went off a little bit with the brown, but that's okay. That's okay. It's not gonna look too bad. You can fix it or leave it, doesn't matter. And then I'm gonna hit that strap right there, and I will get this strap over the shoulder. It also has, it almost looks like suspenders. I'm gonna leave them green. They show up really well, even the same color as the uniform. But this strap will give some nice variety. Comes over this shoulder. There we go. And goes around. Kind of goes under the collar there at that corner of his neck. Now one thing is when I was doing the hair, let's see if I can get that to focus in for you. There is a bad seam on every one of them right where the hair meets the face. So just kind of smear the paint and let it look like a few loose hairs hanging over in the face. It'll do okay. So there we go, that looks good. And of course, the gun. Right in here is going to be a little tricky. You don't want to cover up too much of the hand that you had painted. Just then I completely took away his trigger finger, but that is alright. Some of them I will do better on. That'll give each one of them just a little bit of unique character. Now this part does take a little while. It's not hard. Just needs a little patience. and some good eyes. I almost need some magnifying glass or something, because these are tiny figures. So don't worry about it being perfect. Anything that you can get halfway decent on there is going to make it look tons better, because these are not going to be looked at up close with great detail. These are going to be more of a landscape filler. Oh man, these are going to be annoying to do, every one of them though. But I did want to film one of them just to show you what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. I just lay the brush on its side and just rub until it gets to where I want it to be, kind of pushing the paint. Pushing the paint along. It is really hard to get this held in a good position where I can see well and be comfortable enough to paint it. There we go. Alright, that looks really good. And finishing touch for this one, the boots. Gonna do the boots in black as well. Almost every picture I saw online, they had those big thick leather hide black boots, and it's going to look really good just to set off the figure. Here we are, it's looking good. When you get near the base, I just spread the brush out, lay it flat and push until it gets down to where I want it to be, and then pull the brush away and just let it leave the paint behind. Sorry, I can't really get it on camera as well as I'd like. And if you feel like the cap is getting dry, then screw it back on the paint, shake it up a few times, and then take it back off. It works great when you're not doing any kind of color mix. Alright, I'm afraid if I keep going, I'm going to smear it or do something, but there we go. I have one finished. He is ready to be primered. And if you notice, well, not primered, but going to do a wash on it. And if you notice a few spots of green showing through, it's fine. Once you get everything painted, it'll look good. You won't have to worry about it. So I got this clean cup, poured some purified water in it, and then use this syringe to pull it up. So get some water in there and a few drops of my black. It doesn't take a lot, and I'm using purified water just to make sure there's no contaminants that might want to stick to my figures. So just using an old brush. It's real wide. There we go. That's what you want. You want it real runny. You can see how runny it is. Then here's one of my figures. If you can see that good. I'll try to show it later. Alright. Get a lid or two to prop under that. There we go. Then you're just going to brush this on real liberal. Or, I'm sorry, real generously. And I'm just going to hit everything. There we go. That's looking good. And then especially the face, I want to dab some of it off because it got a lot in there. There we go. Let's see if you can see. It's looking good. Can you see the difference? Oh yeah. Between the two. This one has shadows and has some shine, and this one just looks plain. So there you go. So I'm going to do that, and we'll take a look later. I've been trying to get a good view of it. It just doesn't want to do well. Let it sit overnight. So, held it like this, and sprayed, tap, 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 tap. Then held it like this and sprayed. So about a 45-degree angle each time, from the top and from the bottom of the figure. 3 coats. Let it sit for about 15 to 20 minutes between each coat, and then I'll let them set overnight. So see if I can get a good photo for you to see the end product. This doesn't look too bad. It is supposed to be a matte finish, but it does have a little bit of a shine coming off of the lights. There we go. That gives you an idea of how it looks. I'll still try to get a better picture, but there you go. Alright, hope you enjoyed it. I hope that maybe inspires someone else to get theirs painted.